Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, and we are back for our first Sister Wives Season 10 review. You guys, please bear with me. I'm gonna jump around a little bit with this episode because it was all over the place as is. We were talking about the highs of Maddie and then the lows of Mary and this catfish thing. So if I get a little irritated or I sound like I'm a little annoyed, please understand that I am already over this whole catfish thing. But let's go ahead and begin. We begin this episode and they are talking about Maddie. So Maddie went to go visit Caleb for a few days in Montana. Janelle says that she's not only spending time with him, but she is also currently looking for a job and an apartment because she intends to move there. I'm very much for love, but I don't understand why when Janelle's talking about the job and apartment, she didn't also mention school. Put down in the comment section below if Maddie quit school to make this move, because I know that at one point she was attending college and then I don't recall her ever finishing it, but I could be misinformed. Just let me know down below if you know. I feel like they could have worked around all of that, get a transfer or something like that. I don't know. I just didn't hear her say anything about that. Cody says that when Maddie's home for like the first day, she's good. And then he noticed that she's a little under the weather, which he kind of calls basically her missing Caleb. He says after the first day, she basically misses him. Janelle thinks that it's cool to see Maddie in this emotional attached state because it's something that she doesn't normally see in her. And I'm like, okay, I guess I wouldn't want my child to be borderline sick, as Cody explains it, from being apart from somebody for a day. But I also feel like that's just Cody exaggerating. I think that Madison is just very much so in love. And I'm happy that it's with a guy that seems to love and care about her. Now, Christine says that she thought that by now she would be hearing about some form of proposal. She's not trying to push it, but at the same time, she kind of is. Cody says that with Madison looking for an apartment and a job, that he kind of feels like there's something in the air because he doesn't see her making that move unless something was done or said. So they're waiting for Maddie to arrive. She walks in and all the kids are excited to see her. And she has an announcement to make, which looking back at this now, because I saw Janelle smirking when she made her announcement, I feel like Janelle kind of knew, because it's not often that we see all of the kids gather, like Logan and the older kids, for such announcements, but Logan was there. So she makes the announcement that she's engaged and she shows off her ring finger, and you see Janelle smile. And Christine and the other, adults get excited. I told you already, part of me feels like she knew. Christine thinks that it's very beautiful, along with Janelle. Janelle says that Caleb did a great job because he picked out something that Maddie would really like. They ask about when this marriage is going to be. And she says that she would like for the wedding to be in June, on June 4th. In northern Wyoming, which means at this point, based on what Janelle is saying, that they have less than a year to get ready for this wedding. Cody immediately starts talking about how him and Caleb not only could go fishing, but while they're doing this, they could be looking for venues. And I just think it's amazing that Cody is willing to be so hands-on with this experience as far as his daughter is concerned, but he wasn't willing to even do this for his own weddings, with the exception of the Birds. He didn't do that for Christine. That's one of the major things that Christine took issue with, was that Cody was so uninvolved in hers, but here you have him wanting to plan everything. And I understand that things change. Cody says he's the groom, Caleb is, and in the modern age, grooms are involved. Meanwhile, Maddie says Caleb doesn't even really care, that he basically just wants Maddie to be happy. And I just feel like Cody is going to use any opportunity to hang out with Caleb, because it's obvious that Cody is deprived of friends, and especially male ones. Janelle said Cody lives in a world where he's swimming in estrogen. So now that he has a son-in-law, it can be like a built-in friend. Me personally, I want my man and my dad to get along, but they don't have to be friends. They can grow into having a mutual respect for one another, but they don't have to be friends. Janelle's concerned because of the time of year as well as the short time that they'll have. She says, most people plan at least a year out, and June is a big time for weddings, and they're going to have to be battling that along with getting a venue that Maddie would like and a place that she would like. So there's a lot of things that they need to do, and they need to get going. Cody says that he's not really, emotional about it yet. He's just excited. He just wants to call Caleb and congratulate him because it's really cool. I don't think sometimes those things hit until it's actually happening, like actually seeing in her dress or walking her down the aisle, or maybe if he saw the actual proposal, maybe it would have been something different. So we then go to this scene. So despite Solomon being, I believe, 3 or 4 at the time when Robin is pregnant with their next child, he is still sleeping in their bed. Now, Robin tries to make it sound like he's sleeping in their room, but Cody makes it be known that it's their bed. With that being said, why are we forced to see an entire scene where we see Cody and Robin, well, mainly Robin, discussing with Solomon about if he can share a room with his baby sister when he doesn't even sleep in said room by himself as is? Robin says that, even though this is his room, he doesn't sleep in it. So why are you having a discussion with him about the room? It's really not his room. Given that the room has a bed in it, I thought they may use it as a guest room, but apparently she plans on using that as his bed. So she's making a bedroom for the 2 kids. She says that currently this bedroom is Saul's playroom, and it's kind of where they keep his clothes, his stuff, and where he gets dressed. Me personally, as a parent, I was never that parent. My child didn't sleep in the bed with me. It's not something that I started. He went straight from being in the bassinet to the crib, and then from the crib to his own bed. It was never a we're going to share a bed situation. When he finally did sleep in a bed with me was when we were out of town doing something, and it was miserable because I got kicked. He was turned upside down. His foot was in my face. Like, there was a lot of things going on in that bed. He might have been doing it on purpose. I don't know. But I'm just saying it wasn't my thing. So that was never an issue that I had to face. I didn't have to wean him out of being in my bedroom. But apparently this is something that they're going to have to do. They're going to have to try to wean their child out of their room. Garrison says, because they have the kids talking about it in confessional, that at various points, all of the Brown children did have to share rooms. So what Saul is going to have to do with his baby sister is no different. Him and Gabe shared the same room. We find out that Gwen and Isabel shared the same room. Gwen adds that it was pleasant, but she said it's kind of sarcastically. And Isabel said that she hated it. Isabel thinks that Solomon might be jealous if they share a room. And I feel like he's probably going to be more jealous because he's getting kicked out of his room with his parents for this baby that is now entering. Garrison says that this is going to be a Robin and Dad problem 5 years from now, not theirs, their kids. So that's up to them. According to Robin, the polygamy thing kind of throws off kicking the kids out of your bed. And then when she said it, I was like, what? What does the polygamy have to do with it? But all the moms kind of chime in and say that because you're only sleeping with your husband for one night out of 3, that they have kids that come in their bed. We hear about how Savannah likes to sleep in Janelle's bed, and she gets mad when Cody comes over because she can't lay in that bed. And how if McKelty's staying the night, McKelty likes to sleep in Christine's bed and she gets mad if he's over there. And how Leon slept in Mary's bed as well until they were about 7. So Cody claims knowing that his kids feel this way kind of makes him feel unwelcome because, Cody has to feel like he's the center of attention. Cody feels like when the other baby comes that he's going to end up being in a room with Saul and Robin will end up being in another room with the little girl. And I'm just like, okay, this is what baby monitors are for. You have all these different rooms in your house. You say that you want to put them right in the room next to you so you can be there? Why does it require so much? And here's the thing. I understand being concerned, especially with SIDS and all those other things out there for your children, but I don't feel like this is just because of being scared something may happen in the night or while they're sleeping. I just think this is what Robin does with her kids, because we know she did it with him, and we know that she does it with this one, because when they go to Flagstaff, we're told that Ariella can't sleep without Cody. So this is just what they do. Robin says that they're just going to have to make some adjustments. She thinks that he's going to be okay sleeping in his room because she took him somewhere and he was able to pick out his bedspread. I think that the optimal time to do this would have been as soon as she found out she was pregnant. That way he did not associate being kicked out of that room with the birth of this baby. But what do I know? Y'all tell me what you think down below. She says she wants a new dresser. I don't hear her mention a crib. I don't see a crib in the room, but maybe she still has the crib from when he was younger and it's just in the attic or something, or in her garage. Maybe she never got rid of it. Christine says that she's fine with Robin having another baby because she's going to be able to play grandma. She's going to, just be able to take the kid for a little bit and give the kid back to Robin. Mary's like, I don't know why y'all keep saying that you're going to be like a grandmother. I feel like I'm going to take on the role of mom for this baby. If they aren't even allowed to watch Robin's kids, like to babysit them, do you really think that she's going to have you take on the role of mom for her child? I don't even think that she ever thought of the moms as other moms to her children. We didn't hear her tell them that this is mom. We heard, and I'm going to go back to that picture over and over again, when she was pointing out the adults, she pointed them out by their name. And when she got to Cody, she said, Daddy. So you made it very clear that these women were just the other wives and that this man is to be your dad. I don't think she valued that whole mom thing as much as she claims to, unless it was convenient to her pockets, her finances, and for her to get to the celestial kingdom. It's the day for Maddie to leave. We see her packing. We found out that she's found a small 1-bedroom house for herself, and she's going to be moving to Billings, Montana. They move real quickly. When they decide to do stuff, they just do it. I wish I was kind of like that. I'm more of I got to have a plan and put stuff into, yeah. When things are not planned, sometimes it's kind of like for me. So I can never just pack. I had a friend just do it the other day. Like, he up and decided to move to Vegas. That is a big move from this side to Vegas, a time change and all. But he did it, and he decided to do it in 2 months, and he was out. I can't move like that. I got to really have stuff planned out. But to each his own. Everybody does things in the way that works for them. It wouldn't work for me, but it works for Maddie. So Cody is all extra and loud as Caleb pulls up, and he says, oh, it's Caleb. Oh, with flowers. What a guy. Now, of course, he doesn't sound like that, but he's just so like, why does he always have to bring attention to himself? Just walk out and greet the man and say, hello, hey, Caleb, how you doing? Give him a hug, congratulations. But all the extraness of her just walking out, he just seems to get so overly excited when he sees certain people, mainly males, that he's socially awkward to me. We see Maddie and Caleb kiss and hug. He apologizes for being late. Cody says that he's eager to spend more time with Caleb, and that even though, he's already approved for, Caleb to marry his daughter, he's looking forward to being able to ride with Caleb so that he can continue to monitor the situation. He wants to hang with him. He even says, and I quote, are we loading up the truck tonight, or are we going to play tonight? That man wasn't there for Cody. That man was there for his fiance to move her. Cody clearly doesn't have any friends. And then when I think about it, I said, you know what? We've only seen him go out with friends a few times for his male outings. And majority of the time, they involve males that are connected to the wives. They don't necessarily involve his own male friends. Example, we saw him on one male outing when they were wrestling and all that other stuff. He brought who? He brought the trainer. Then another time when they went to go jump off the ledge and do whatever else, he brought who? Janelle's other trainer. It's just always like a member of the family and then somebody connected to the women. He suggests that him and Caleb ride together for this trip to drop Maddie off because it's a long ride and it will give them time to get to know each other. He's like, we don't have to ride together the whole time, but you know, you can ride with me for a little bit, or I'll ride with you for a little bit, and then the wives can ride together. Caleb is a nice guy who doesn't mind or feel awkward about it. Garrison says that his dad really likes Caleb, but he's still trying to figure out if Caleb likes his dad. Then Gwen says, her dad is obsessed with Caleb. It's not hard to make friends. I love these kids. Garrison, Caleb, Gabe, they will be really snarky, but sometimes I gotta agree with the things that they're saying. We see that they walk into Christine's house. She embraces Caleb and squeals with glee to see him. Christine, sometimes to me, is very over the top, but it's clear that this is her natural personality because the people around her don't even budge when she does it. So it's something that they're very accustomed to, whether the cameras are there or not. We find out that Maddie, Desi, and Caleb are supposed to be going out for dinner, but Cody has taken it upon himself to invite himself and some of the wives to said dinner. Now, Christine feels like it's awkward because Cody just invited himself when she knew that this was something that Maddie was looking forward to doing with just her friends. We see them then head over to Robin's because they're going over there to get some couches from Robin's home because Robin needs a bigger couch that she's been begging Cody for forever, she tells us. And then she lets us know that, because Janelle's like, oh, you're getting a new couch. And she's like, yeah, but I'll be paying it off for a while. I don't think that she was really going to be paying it off for a while, but she knows that Janelle is the finance person, and Janelle's going to wonder where she got money from in order to pay for this new furniture, especially if it wasn't something that she may have necessarily needed. But she lets us know as they're getting ready to move the couch that, you know, she really needed the couches. So when they're going to move the couch, Cody noticed that one of the legs was broken on the couch. Now, the bird already knew about it too. She lets us know, like, don't make fun of it or whatever, I can't help that, it's hand-me-down furniture. She knew that the leg was broken, but Cody is going to take this time to fix the leg now instead of just putting the couch in the thing and doing this later. He wants to do it now. Christine thinks it's just a way for him to have them spend more time with them, and they joke about it, but he says he just wants to do it now. No one thinks it's a good idea, including Caleb. Caleb says, I don't understand why he wants to do it now because we can fix it later, especially once we get up there because I am kind of handy. Cody jokes around about the chair and how that can be considered as an engagement gift and how he wants to be part of everything before Madison leaves. Christine says when Madison was a little girl, she was very much so a daddy's girl, and that Cody was always her rock. And Christine's getting choked up while she's talking about it. And you see Cody looking down and stuff. I cannot tell if he's bothered by what she's saying, or if he's just feeling some emotions here. He says that there's very little time left with her, so he's going to take advantage of it while she's here, even if that means that he's going to impose on time with her and with Caleb and her friends. Even if she said he couldn't come, she was going to come. And I was like, okay, we've been told that Maddie was there for at least 2 weeks. So why are you waiting till her last day to now want to impose on her? Why impose upon her now when she just said that she really wanted for Desi to meet Caleb because she hasn't met him yet? That's her best friend, and she would like to spend time. But Maddie's not that type of person, according to Janelle, and she's going to let them come either way. So we see Janelle, Cody, Christine, Caleb, and Maddie meet with Desi. Christine says Maddie doesn't mind, but I know it's probably not what she wished. Desi arrives, and then as she arrives and, meets Caleb for the first time in person, you hear Cody say, "You're supposed to say, I've heard so much about you." And she goes, "I've heard so much about you." And then she says, "She talks about you all the time." Well, Cody says, "She talks about you all the time." And she's like, "Yeah, she does, for like 3 years now." And Madison's like, "Not for 3 years." And she goes, "No, it's been like 3 years." All the parents feel in the dark about this. No child tells you every little bit of their story. So, I'm not surprised that they don't know this. Just be happy you know anything. Seriously. Cody says that he wants for them to be in Vegas, and he's trying to figure out a way to talk Caleb to coming into Vegas. And Caleb's like, "Are you going to pay me?" We do know that at some point they were in Vegas for a little bit. It's funny how he wanted him in Vegas so badly, even though in a few years, not only will Cody be leaving Vegas, but he will be uprooting his whole family to leave. Caleb tells a story about how he had given his mom Maddie's ring because he was afraid he would lose it and he didn't want to. So while he was in the vehicle with Maddie, he received a phone call from his mom, and he did what people do, which is he answered it while driving on his truck's speakerphone. And she says, "Just to let you know, we hid the ring in the gun safe." So he didn't want Maddie to know about the ring. So he's like, yeah, what ring are you talking about?" And hung up. So he looks over to Maddie and says, "I got something to tell you. Just to let you know, I bought you a ring. It's going to happen." And even with him saying that, we find out that she was still surprised about the proposal. So she knew that he had a ring, but she didn't think he was going to propose when he did. So they talk about the proposal. It was at the place where they went four-wheeling together and realized that they had a mutual connection. To him, he felt like it would be the most romantic thing to take her to the spot where everything originally happened. So she was riding with him. He gets off the four-wheeler. He tries to tell her to come on. She doesn't really want to get off the four-wheeler at first because it's cold. But he's like, "Come on, I got something to show you." And as he's doing that, he bends down to get on one knee. And she starts crying and kissing him and crying. And he said, "Maddie, I don't know if I could ever explain to you how much you mean to me and how much I love you. But I will try every day of my life to show you how much you mean to me. With that, will you marry me?" I know I made a comment about their age difference, but I would also like to make it clear that I'm extremely happy that Maddie found someone that loves her for her, and that it seems to have worked out for these I don't want to call them kids, for these young adults. Because for Maddie to be as young as she is, and there are many people who have young love and they make it work. It's not always easy, because I know me personally, I'm not the same person that I was at 19, and I'm definitely not the same person that I was at 30, or, except it just changes. You evolve. Man, I wasn't the same person at 19 as I was at 25. So, over time, things change. And even with them having that 10-year age difference, and even with her only being 19 when she got engaged, they have seemed to make it work. He loves her, and he loves the family that they created. She says yes. He tells Desi, "I know I'm stealing your best friend tomorrow, but I'm going to take care of her because she means everything to me." What person doesn't want to hear, what person doesn't want to hear that said about their person? I know that when my best friend proposes to his girl, I am going to be a basket case. I am. Because I love love, number one. Number two, I know my best friend, and my best friend is my family. I've known my best friend since I was a junior in high school, and we connected over being angry about having to move to a different state and leave, our other friends behind and be at this school. And to see how he's evolved and the man that he's become and the family that they've created, I'm just so excited for him and for her, because she loves him despite all that she knows about him. And I couldn't help but think about my best friend when they were talking, because you could see how genuinely happy Maddie was to hear, him say that, and to see her best friend's reaction to it. It's nice when you can say that your best friend and your lover, who is also your best friend, or should be in my opinion, that they connect. She says that she's based on what Maddie said and the things that she's seen, she knows that he's a good person. We hear that both Christine and Janelle say that it's nice when you have your friends say that they approve of your mate. Desi has been there from day one and has been someone that Maddie has been confiding in, and she's been there for the good and the bad. And there's things that Desi knows that the parents don't, and Desi's supposed to be her bridesmaid and all those things. So that stamp of approval means a lot. Desi says, the way that she's talked about you, I know that you're going to treat her good. And Maddie is all smiles. We then have the midwife visit. Okay, I can stop being a sap because we're back to the bird. That seems horrible. Who gets a little teary-eyed, and then as soon as I see a midwife visit on my notes, I'm like, her again. That seems so cruel. Okay, so we see Cody getting Saul ready because they're gonna go to visit the midwife. And I think they filmed this out of sequence because there's clearly this big, black, large leather couch in this space that's wrapped around. And I'm thinking this is the couch that she was talking about. Or is this just a different room? Let me know down below. They get there. Cody says Solomon loves these appointments. Robin is 7 months and she's concerned because she said the baby has not turned head down yet. She worries that there may be some type of cord issue or something like that as to why the baby's not turning down. And the midwife asks her, like, has the movement changed or anything like that? And she said no. So she goes, well, if you haven't felt any difference in the movement or anything like that, then it's probably not an issue. Let's just go ahead and see. Now, one of the reasons why she's really concerned about this is because if the baby does not turn downward, it makes a home birth extremely difficult. Because it can be dangerous for the mother and baby. They do not want babies coming out breech. They just don't. Even in the hospital, they don't want babies coming out breech. So to hear Robin say that she's had all her births at home and she still wants to try to have that at home, you will want the baby to be in the optimal position. So all this talk about the baby not being turned head down, just to, as soon as she's getting measured, the midwife tells her the baby's head is down. I firmly believe that sometimes the bird or liebrows stresses about everything for no reason. Part of me wonders if it's intentional or if this is just something that she developed over time. And I'm saying that because I look at her daughter, Aurora, and Aurora seemed to be very carefree as a child. And now she's not. Now she's very much so like her mother, anxiety driven and worried and all these things. And I wonder if that was something that she developed because of her mother, if this is something that she just had because of an experience. You just never know. And I'm not trying to blame it on that. I don't want to, make it seem like she's making it up. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is, what happened that this developed over time? And was that similar with Robin? So Maddie leaves, okay? It's time for Maddie to leave. She will not be back until Thanksgiving. Janelle says she's anxious to, have her go, but she's ready. Like, Maddie is ready. I said Janelle is. Maddie's anxious. Maddie's ready to go. Janelle not ready. Janelle ready to get her where she got to go, but Maddie's really, really ready. Okay, that sounds so confusing. Y'all pardon my nose. Janelle is saying that Maddie is anxious to go. Like she wants to hurry up and get out of there. Janelle isn't too worried about it because she knows that she's going to see Maddie soon for Thanksgiving, as well as because they're going to have to start planning for this wedding. They want to leave around 10. So Cody, Christine, and Janelle are the ones that are going with them, with Caleb and Maddie, to drop her off. Christine says that she found herself at dinner time being choked up and she had to hold it back. Janelle feels like she talks to Maddie more now than she did when Maddie was at home, so she's not worried about it. Whereas Christine is finding herself struggling with her leaving. She says that, they've remained very close, and over the years, they've gotten even closer. She said that Maddie, this is Christine talking, went through a lot of hard times and tough decisions, but she's so impressed with the lady that she is. We see Truly hug her goodbye. We see Maddie go to the other house and hug them as well. Christine says one of the reasons why she wanted these marriages, these plural marriages, was because of how much she loved her other mother when they were growing up, and she wanted for her kids to experience that. She says she never dreamed of how incredible it would be to have all these children that she was so close to. And I'm listening to Christine talking. I'm like, Christine really was the glue. Mary feels blessed to have these kids and these wives be a mother to her child. We then see them head out for this 16-hour drive. Now, we don't see all the stops or whatever else that they do. We just see them arrive at the house where they get a tour. We find out that Madison may be living here by herself temporarily. So Caleb has his own place. She has her own place. Once they get married, they're going to determine whether they're going to stay in her place or whether they're going to stay in Caleb's place. Maddie says that her desire is to wait for a few years until they have marriage. You then see the kids talking about how Maddie is determined and stubborn, and how if Maddie doesn't want to have kids until 3 or 4 years down the road, then Garrison says Maddie is the type of person who, she says it, she's going to stick to it just to prove herself right. Gabe is like, oh, you're going to get so much backlash for that. But I laughed when he said it because it just goes to show you that brother-sister dynamic. They hug Maddie and Caleb goodbye. Christine says that she's happy that Caleb is there for her, but she does not like seeing her in this adult role. She's not ready for it yet. And I'm like, okay, it is different when you're talking about 19. Your child is 19. I could see why seeing them in an adult role would be difficult to see. So, time to talk about Mary, y'all. Take a sip. Take a drink. Before I start, we all are going to have varying opinions about this whole Catfish situation. My one request is that we remain respectful of each other in the comment section. Let's begin. So, Mary says this year had a lot of stress in her life, most of that being her lover, if you ask me, the Catfish, Sam, whatever we want to call that friendship, relationship, whatever she's deeming it as, okay? She says that she finally talked to the family about it, and now as a result, they're trying to deal with it. So at this point, we've seen Mary talk about the Catfish via the same clip 3 times now. So I'm not going to go through all the ins and outs of that clip. The bottom line is Mary met a man online that made her feel loved, made her laugh, was calling her and texting her, and then eventually she found out it wasn't a man. Not that whether it was a man or a woman matters to me. The fact that she originally thought it was a man shows that Mary was on some dangerous, territory. Let me know down below in the comment section if you feel like Mary cheated on Cody. I don't like Cody. I don't like a lot of the things that he does. In my opinion, she cheated on him. She said on a daily basis, she feels guilt for this situation because she let it in, and she has anxiety whenever they talk about it. I feel like one of the reasons why she has anxiety about it is because she's embarrassed. As she, is understandable. It's being filmed on national television, and as well as because she knows she's still not revealing it all. But we'll get into it. Robin says that Mary has been pulling away from the family and it was difficult for them. They just didn't know how to handle it. that she didn't want to spend time with them. She would come over to gatherings late and be on her phone all the time. Janelle said something kind of similar about her coming to gatherings late and then leaving early. So they all noticed it. She was distant. She was cold. They're still trying to figure things out. So Mary starts off by saying, you guys, I'm going to be completely open, honest, and transparent and vulnerable to the family. It's been all these years later, and I have to be honest. I don't feel like Mary has done that. And if it's something that she doesn't want to do, it is something that she doesn't want to do. But don't sit here and say that you're going to be completely honest and all that when you clearly haven't. So here comes Nancy. Nancy knew that Mary was supposed to be talking to the family about what was going on while she was in Alaska. She said it. She said, you were supposed to be having a conversation with the family while you were in Alaska. How did that go? Which means she knew. So she wants to know how it went. Mary said it was a big jumble in her head because she didn't want the trip to end on a horrible note. So as a result, she kind of didn't get to it. I don't know what kind of logic Nancy is under that she feels like it would have been a good idea for Mary to bring up something that was that serious, that in my opinion involved some form of infidelity, as well as some other things, in a setting like that where they were supposed to be on a trip having a good time. There would have been no appropriate time to bring that up. I don't know why Nancy advised her to do that. So we get flashbacks of the trip. And then we have Cody saying, based on what she said in Alaska, he felt like Mary needed a break from us as a family and from our situation. And I want to know, what situation was he talking about? These are the questions that I get irritated that Nancy doesn't ask. And maybe if she did, maybe TLC cut it out, because TLC, from what we've heard over the years, has listened to them sometimes when they ask them to not include clips of certain things or show certain discussions. So I wonder if Nancy did follow this up with, what are you talking about? Nancy said, Mary, when did you tell your family what was fully going on? And she says, the weekend that we saw Hunter for the parents' weekend in Colorado. We saw this in the season 9 tell-all, and that's not when she told them. That's when she told Robin. So she went to Robin's hotel room one night, cried, told her version of everything that happened. Robin then says that for the last 6 to 8 months, I've been at a war with Mary because I believe that Mary was actually having an affair, which confuses me because at this point, has it been 6 to 8 months since they found out? Let me know down below. Where did the 6 to 8 months timeline come from? Unless Robin was kind of being a little sneaky here, because it's not like Mary, and I don't think it had been no 6 to okay, let me rephrase here. Let me think. I'm thinking 6 to 8 months. They said that they went on the Alaska trip in the summertime, right? Maddie moved to her place in September, which means if it had been 6 to 8 months that you felt like she was cheating, you were privy to some information prior to. Okay, I'm back. She believed that Mary had an affair or something else was going on, because it's not like Mary. Mary would call her to come over and she would just cry and want Robin to hold her. Why is your immediate thought affair? Especially if she was having all those health complications, why would your immediate thought be affair? I don't understand that part. I kind of struggle with it. I want to root for Mary. I do. I just find it hard to relate to Mary because I know that Mary isn't being honest about the situation. And I would much rather prefer her to say she doesn't want to talk about it. So she told Robin that she started talking to a guy online. Robin said she knew that because it was kind of public. Public to whom? She said that Mary was embarrassed and she could tell that she was worried that, Robin was going to judge her. And Mary told her some pretty horrifying things. At this point, everybody's going to judge you because it's not coming from you. It's coming from someone else. Mary never jumped ahead of the situation. Mary tells the Bird that she felt emotionally blackmailed, that they were tracking her every move, that she thought her house was bugs, and that she felt like basically this was a woman trying to make her voice sound like a man. If Mary wasn't doing anything wrong, whether it was a man or woman, as I said earlier, it's not relevant. She couldn't spend time with the family, according to Mary, without getting the person upset. Robin said, I just felt relieved that she wasn't leaving us and that she didn't have an affair. And I don't think that Robin's relief was about Mary. I think that that relief was about Robin. I think that some part of Robin really does believe in polygamy. She just doesn't understand what she's supposed to do to be a good polygamous wife, or she doesn't care what she's supposed to do to be a good polygamous wife. I think that for her, her relief was that they would still be eternally bound, as well as bound to finances. Robin wanted to know how this could happen. How could Mary get to the place where she was emotionally, where they didn't see it? And you see the wives nodding. She says, because Mary didn't feel like she could talk to her. She didn't feel like she could talk to them. Nancy says, what did you tell them when you opened up? Mary claims she doesn't remember. In a confessional, we hear her say that Robin encouraged her to tell the family that she didn't know if she was going to tell anyone else but Cody. She was trying to keep it in her own little circle. Even though Robin said some things were already out there, so how could it have been something that she would have kept in her own little circle? So a week after she told Robin, she finally told Cody and the other ladies. And I'm like, okay, so we're supposed to believe that anxiety-filled Robin did not tell the bald eagle about this situation. Yeah, right. Please understand that at her earliest convenience, when they got back home, she told her husband what was going on. Cody said he knew for a long time that something was wrong. It was something that Mary was struggling with. Her nuances were like, I'm trapped, and he was wondering if he felt trapped by him or with him. How would you feel that way unless you weren't doing what you were supposed to do as a husband? Okay? He said, he would say, I'm not doing that to you, like he's not trapping her, and she would go blank and then cry. We get told again about her being in a weird place and talking to this guy on social media and on the phone. And that basically laughter and good words made her feel cared for. I think a lot of this is being told out of sequence because we already were told this on the tell-all. She admits to caring about this person. Cody says him and Mary have struggled for a long time. So there was a point where he asked if Mary could cut off that online friendship. Understand that her struggles existed well before this situation. I do not feel like this is all on Mary. I do feel like Cody has something to do with it. My problem is that I wish that she would have not gone this route, basically. We saw some of their issues. We saw how he sat there and gaslit her and made her 1 minute say he wanted to have a baby with her. Why aren't you considering Robin's offer, whatever. And even though she took a long time to come to the conclusion that she did want a baby, then said, no, I don't want to do it that way. I only want to do it naturally. We saw him admit in season 18 that he is glad that they didn't go through it. And one of the reasons why he said he wanted to do it naturally was because at that very time they were having issues. So it was long before Mary stepped out that this thing happened. He said her struggles with me left her vulnerable to this person. And she told him she's not going to stop having friends just because he said so. So he's claiming to wish that he tried harder to regain her trust. So he could have said that to her and that she would have walked away from them. I want to know if y'all really believe that, because for a split moment, I believed it. But then I was like, his actions after this, from the clips that I've seen, show otherwise. He says he feels culpable because he could have tried to stay closer with her when she was shutting him out, and that was a mistake on his part. So he's still trying to blame her. We know that his feelings have changed. Janelle says, so are you saying you were emotionally compromised? So when he said, I love you, you were like, ew. And Mary says, no, I'm sorry, but no. When he started saying love, it was flattering to me. I'm sorry, it was flattering to me. And Cody and Janelle say that that's normal, but admit to maybe being naive, because this is not something that she was getting from her husband. If she was being told by Cody that I love you, do you think that some random person that she never met in person could so easily fulfill that position? No, there was a major lack there that she had received from her husband long before they probably even got to Nevada, based on the way Christine speaks. It doesn't take a genius to see that Cody had checked out on Mary. She then was introduced to his female friend who talked about him and met her. And I don't understand the point of her even meeting the female friend, but they didn't go to that. The person she met was the actual woman who catfished her. Christine says, creating all these identities to deceive people is evil, and people who do this are cowards. Do I agree with that statement? Yes, I do. So Mary started looking into stuff. Even the house that this person claimed that they owned in Vegas, they didn't. I feel like Mary was going to leave. Robin says, it's weird to have someone treating you like this, Mary, and getting away with it, because the Mary that I know would never put up with this. Cody says, you never put up with it from me. Mary says, you never treated me the way these people did, which lets you know he was treating her badly, but maybe not to the extent where she felt like she was being monitored. Janelle says, sitting on the outside, I can see all the manipulation. I can see the manipulation all over it. And I'm just shocked that Mary fell for it, just like we can and just like we are. She said, how did you not just say, take a flying leap? Because the Mary I know would say that. She said, the person told her, this is what Mary said, I will ruin your life. I will ruin your family. You don't want to mess with me. The Mary that Janelle knows is gone. She speaks of this conversation that she had where everything that she said was repeated. So she felt like she was being bugged. She's crying a bunch while she's saying it, but I'm just sitting here in disbelief. She says she didn't know if she was bugged or not. Cody also wanted to know what kind of lowlife would manipulate people this way. And as he's saying it, I'm like, okay, the same kind of lowlife that manipulates 3 women into feeling like he loves them just so he can marry a 4th and really love that person so that he can get the life that he wanted. Cody's not no better than the catfish, in my opinion. Mary says she gets so angry because this person still has control, and it just pisses her off because she's not a weak person. And this person still had control because Mary wasn't being completely honest about everything. Once you're fully transparent, which is what she said she wanted to be, once you're fully that way, you take back your control. Once you tell all of your bad, what else is there left for that person to say? But I understand that some of Mary's bad was really bad, and that may be why she was hesitant to say it. But she should have said it off camera to her husband. Nancy says, the fact that you carry this alone by yourself makes it very clear that you're not a weak person. And I want to know what kind of person Mary is. Is she confused? Is she hurt? Is she lonely? Is she broken? I don't understand. What is the person even doing with all the things that she's saying? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing with this information? What is our end goal from this discussion, Nancy? Mary says, while talking to the different characters, they pushed it that she wasn't happy or she wasn't being treated right. I don't think that just solely came from the catfish. I think that some of that was Mary as well, because Mary did say some of those things herself, that she didn't feel like she was being treated like an equal. Remember when they were talking about the division of the money and how she didn't feel like she was bringing as much into the family because she didn't have the kids, and how they wanted her to have a smaller home. There were times where we saw this play out. But you all tell me what you think. So the catfish wanted to know about their religion, bashing it, bashing Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon. So it caused for Mary to read more, to pray, and to evaluate, which made her get closer to God to see what she really wanted. Robin says, we got to be proactive and making sure that no one feels this vulnerable like this again. She doesn't understand why she wouldn't talk to her or Cody. Robin says they need to make a deal that they don't shut each other out. Janelle says, at this point, we got to bridge the gap, because there have been times where Janelle has been by herself in her home, and she knows how it felt awkward for her to be alone, and that was only momentary. So she's starting to think now about how Mary felt. Mary is not just a friend, she says. Mary is someone that she's known for 20 plus years, and she said nothing. Robin says that, you know, Mary, I get it. The same way you feel lonely, I feel lonely too, but in a different way. I feel lonely for female companionship because Mary has a freedom that I crave. So the bird has to at some point make this about her when this is supposed to be about Mary. Mary admits to building up a wall. Nancy says she was targeted because she was isolated, that she needs to be ready to work with them. Mary says she has to make an effort to enjoy the family's company. She doesn't want to intrude or overstep, especially if Cody is there. Robin says, your effing place is here. They laugh about it. Cody says, that's just one layer because I was here at your house and those calls became more important than us. And that's because at that point, there really wasn't a them. But Mary's not saying it. And I wish Mary did. I want Mary to do an actual tell-all. He said, I don't know why you stopped asking me to come around. Is it because you didn't want them to hear anything between you and I? And Mary's looking at him like she wants to say something, which would probably be what she would say now, which is that they weren't even sleeping together, that he would turn his back to her and things of that nature and wouldn't hold her and kiss her and stuff. But she doesn't say it. She's looking at him and saying nothing. Lets me know right there he's lying. It went bad and she kept it quiet. He said, I was right here. It was deeper than that. He said, you didn't want to be out of the family. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did you just want to be out your relationship with me? Is that right? Because that's how I feel. This is draining, which is why I'm not saying everything. She says, they got so far into my head, Cody, that I didn't know what was up and what was down sometimes. I didn't know what was going on. I hate how Mary does not answer the question because that was a simple yes or no. He says, you seem so angry and I felt like I couldn't get you to talk. Mary says there were times where I was angry at you because if we took better care of our relationship, I wouldn't have been in a vulnerable place. She wouldn't be open to friendships that could lead to this kind of deception and evil. Once again, she's putting some of this on Cody because he was not being there for her as her partner. She says she was so angry at him and her or whatever the hell that the catfish is. And Christine says, as a sister wife, she can't comment on that situation because it's breaking wife code. Christine was in the same place as Mary emotionally, but she remained faithful. And I wish that Christine would have kind of called out some of the things that she went through with Cody, but they don't do that apparently unless it's convenient for them. None of them are going to comment on it because it's private between Mary and Cody. Mary says she doesn't care that, you know, this catfish messed with the wrong person. Cody says he could only imagine how vulnerable and abused Mary feels. Who would ever trust again after that? That Mary says she stopped because she took her power back. She said that the lady is a predator that found something vulnerable. She's scared because she doesn't know what else she can do. And I feel like that's because Mary knew she could expose even more. She said to the person, she told them, if you're real, we need to meet. That he never showed up. He wanted to keep talking. And she's like, no, if you're not going to meet, then we don't need to talk. Mary says, I'm a real person. I'm here. I did not have an affair. And I will do all that I can to help anyone else that's in this situation because unfortunately there are a lot. So now you want to be like the guy from MTV and you want to expose the catfish. Robin says she was trying to protect the family, but her pulling back made it harder for them. Janelle says they have to choose to go deeper and that being emotionally vulnerable to someone is scary. Why, after over 20-something years of being in each other's lives, is it scary for you to be vulnerable? That just shows you that these people never were vulnerable with each other. Mary feels guilty for bringing in the family and she's sorry. She says that they now have this person doing things that can cause problems for her. And I said the only more problems that they could cause for her and the family is revealing things because they can't do anything if they don't have any ammo. And apparently they have ammo. Cody says, I'm sorry that all this happened. We'll take care of you, okay? He hugs her and she cries. And that's the end of that. I'm not trying to victim shame Mary, because earlier in a comment from a previous video, I was told that that's what I'm doing. Let me be clear. I'm calling it like I see it. And what I see is that Mary is still not owning her part in all of this. I feel bad for Mary sometimes, and other times I get upset with Mary because I just want Mary to be honest. If you don't want to talk about it, don't talk about it. But don't lie or make up reasons for why you were caught saying or doing certain things. We'll see how this season progresses. If you have not done so already, please like the video, please comment, and subscribe. I'm on the road to 2,000, okay? That is my ultimate goal. But I'm close to 1,100. Woo, woo! Anyways, until next time.